I'm going to start for people that are getting this for the first time right now. The best thing I can do is start with this. And this isn't just because we've talked about Ian Carroll before. He gets this part right, and we can talk about other stuff. He's going to lead this in and just give us a little briefing on what has happened in the TikTok / RedNote community in the last 48 hours. So here's a briefing by Ian Carroll, and then we'll start talking. Here we go.
That's going on with this RedNote app, this China app thing is amazing. To fill you in on this, it's like the most little brother energy thing ever. And it's happening on a mass scale, like millions of people. So the TikTok ban is going through a couple days. And Gen Z's like, no, fuck you. Because we all know that the Israel lobby is who's behind the TikTok ban. It has nothing to do with China. Look up Project Texas. It's controlled by Oracle already. It's not Chinese propaganda, and even if it was, they're not concerned about our data. If they were concerned about our data, they would have passed data privacy laws, not banning TikTok. Trump tried a TikTok ban bill way back, and it didn't get enough support. And it wasn't until October 7th and the Israel lobby and, support for Palestine breaking out all across TikTok and across young people in general that something actually started to get done. And so now that they're going to ban TikTok, what does Gen Z do? They're like, well, fuck you. We'll go download another Chinese TikTok app. And so RedNote is this Chinese, straight up like in Mandarin app. It has now launched to #1 on the App Store. You can download it yourself. I downloaded it onto my phone just so that I could be a part of that statistic of how many people are downloading it, because that's hilarious. And then what winds up happening? You wind up with American citizens and Chinese citizens just on the same app chatting with each other, they're like teaching each other Mandarin. They're like doing cultural exchange. It's hilarious.
So that's the long and the short of it. I don't know. Did he say anything just now that didn't align with your assessment, Craig? I mean, obviously we can expand on it, but I figured that we'd start with that.
No, I mean, he hit a lot of notes there too as well. I mean, I think he pointed out that Israel was the reason why the Zionists was the reason why TikTok is going away. I mean, I love to play the video of Tom Cotton talking to the CEO of TikTok, going, hey, did you ever have a Chinese passport? I think I just told you I'm Singaporean. I'm not Chinese. No, the data's kept over here. I'm Singaporean. Right? You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I mean, they're trying to twist it, but once again, why isn't he calling out Donald Trump? Why isn't he calling out RFK for not coming to the table and saying this is ridiculous? I mean, this is one of the things that we supported these people for, right? They were supposed to be for freedom of speech and stuff. So, I mean, he has to make some wrongs. He has to correct some wrongs. Like I said, this guy, there's no lie there. That's cool. But, I mean, it's just awfully suspicious with this guy coming out of nowhere. And he did it on the back of a lot of other people's information. Every video that he has made was talked about in the True the Community for quite some time. And people I know that have done extensive work on that, including Whitney Webb and The Last American Vagabond and Derek Bros. And like I said, just go watch that interview with Derek Bros and Ian Carroll. That will tell you a lot what you need to hear.
No,
but yes, really good on the RedNote stuff, and you know what I'm saying.
Okay, well, let's go a little further. Let's look at an example, because this is guys. You can see this on Twitter right now. We usually, and I'm excited about this part because I never got into TikTok. What I have been used to is on Twitter that the great TikTokers, the great little segments and little videos that are worth our time and attention, they get shared onto Twitter. And so I was like, oh no, if you get rid of TikTok, we're not going to have access to that. Well, they're going over to RedNote now. So I might check it out just because I'm curious, but I'm looking forward to the same group, the same Gen Zs that were on TikTok are now going to move over to RedNote, and they're going to share with us on Twitter. So I'm excited about that switch up, and that they're not boo-hoo-hooing too much. A few of them had some panic attacks, and I get it because that's their livelihood. They're losing everything. They have to start over. But it looks like that the people on this, the Chinese people that are about in the same age range, these are like the same generation. They're on RedNote, with open arms, ready to let them in and help guide them through. And it's pretty awesome. So let's look at one TikToker right now who is learning about China. And again, there's so many examples online. I'm just going to share this one, what she's saying here, and see how this goes. Here we go.
He said that Americans are not free because the American TikTok refugees asked the Chinese, what stereotypes do you have about us? And I'm thinking they're going to say, like, we're fat and we like junk food. No. They said that we think that we are free, but we are not, that we live under an oligarchy, and that we essentially live in a corporation. And we're fat.
So that's, that's a little sample, but this is the type of aha moments that are occurring right now. I'm loving the interactions, wait, this is what you think. Now we've heard that, we know this, you and I know this. Jimmy Dore been talking about this for so long, that we are the most captured people on the planet. It just to hear this girl, this one example saying that they're telling us that they understand this in China. They understand this about us. And they're empathetic. Apparently they're empathetic to us, that it's not our fault. But to open up this line of dialogue now is absolutely awesome. I love it. And I love these kind of these like aha moments happening right now. Let me play one more, and then I want to hear your thoughts on this. This one will hit home for you, because this is somebody on one of these guys from China on RedNote, and I thought this was interesting because this brings up the medical issue that we have here. So it already relates back to Luigi. Check this out.
Hello, fellows. In my last video comments, some of you share your medical bill, and that the cost of ambulance shocked me, man. Look at this, $9,000 for an ambulance and the insulin. That's like 3 months of income for an average American. And this, $900 just for an appointment and painkillers. In China, it only costs about $10. And this, in China, we never worry about the ambulance charges. Today, I will show you how much the ambulance costs in Shanghai, which is the most expensive city in China. Let's look at this table I made by using the official data. You guys can take a screenshot for later review. This is why some Chinese followers commented yesterday, it only costs around $50 in China for ambulance services. Those politicians should have taken care of your people first. At the end, salute to Luigi and wish the best to you all. Please follow me for more sharings from the other end of the world. Wow. Bye-bye.
Wow.
小红书
Wow. I mean, doesn't that
Wow.
just get you kind of, you're feeling that something's happening here, right? The oligarchy they have to be shaking in their boots right now, because these guys are understanding that this didn't work. They capture the fear mongering, the idea that they were going to convince us that China was the reason they had to stop TikTok, and the TikTokers only went to RedNote. I mean, this is the irony here. They only went to RedNote as an FU in protest, because we knew it was because of Israel. We knew they didn't want critique of Israel. So it was only because it was just to FU them for pretending it was for China. And now you have this incredible pipeline that's been built. And things like this being shared, like information being just exposed, that the TikTokers weren't even paying attention. They weren't even paying attention to China. They were paying attention to Israel and Palestine, other stuff. Now a whole new world of information has been opened up. And I bet you the oligarchy is trembling right now. What do? The TikTok ban goes through, and these guys continue their adventures into the what we call the rabbit holes of information that was kept from us our entire lives. Craig, what are your thoughts on all this?
Well, be ready for some breaking stories coming up that RedNote is now spying in and has spyware and doing whatever. Look for any type of manufacturing sent from the Congress, from those people in charge, to get rid of it right away. You know what I'm saying? And I know that the truthers will try to spin it once again. You know what's going on? Like, how could they let this happen? That's what they're going to say. Why would they let this portal be open? They're going to shut down TikTok. But no, because that's, once again, they're not that smart. They're not ahead of everything, and they weren't paying attention to it. Well, they're paying attention to it right now. And I think this also goes back to the thing that you said to me yesterday that just kind of resonated. And remember, I got a little silent on the phone because you got me thinking, right? And you said that I think that everybody is realistic, that there's never going to be a panacea, right? Like a perfect system of something. Is panacea the right word? Correct me if I'm wrong. But a perfect system, a great system.
It's called a utopia.
A utopia was the word you used. You're right. They're never going to have the utopia that people think they're going to have. You know what I'm saying? And from every aspect of it, whether you're looking at socialists who want a lot more centralized control, or, you know, libertarians and anarchists who want no control and let the system just work out itself. Whatever the case may be, what we're seeing through RedNote is that, yeah, right, and we're going to see a lot more of the distaste for their country, but I think there's more of a type of social contract with the people of China and their government versus the people of America and their government. In other words, the American government doesn't give people shit, right? With the Chinese government, yeah, okay, they get a security state, they're looking at us, but they give us high-speed rail. They give us a way of living where we don't have to stress shit out. You know what I'm saying? We have a life expectancy that's going really much further. We're not just married to our work 24/7 the way you guys are. You guys get nothing. Your wages are going down. Our wages are going up. We got cool food, cool restaurants. We got everything you got over there, right? It's once again, it's a mixed economy. It's not like a communist country the way Marco Rubio describes it, where I asked Marco Rubio in his latest tweet, are the Chinese people in the room with us right now? Like the paranoid. It just shows you. Instead of doing what China did, their government, making the conditions better for their people to live in, despite all the areas in which we say, oh, that's against our civil liberties, the American governments would rather demonize China than do better for their own citizens and say, all right, you know what? We're going to make things better for our citizens so they'll want to support us. And that's what we're seeing over here, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, that is the most damning piece of information that can get out there. It's like, yeah, okay, we got a shitty government too, but they give us a lot more than your government gives us. They're not sending us to the poorhouse. What's the wealth disparity over in America? It's going the opposite way than what China's going the other way. And that's something that people have to realize. And there's only so much longer they can keep the big lie going. That's the big lie for the Republicans. The fact that Chinese citizens are like under an authoritarian, overpressing government, and they got to whisper to each other and they can't talk. No, they don't have the need to want to talk out against the government because they believe in central planning, a lot of them. They've seen how it works. Oh, I can take a train from Beijing to Shanghai and get there in a couple hours, whatever. I know I'm not good with the, but after seeing RedNote, and I mostly put in food stuff so I can see food stuff, and learning language. I'm loving it, man. And this is something I've been saying for quite some time. And, I got a couple friends out there. I love the Chinese people. I just don't like the Chinese government. Well, the Chinese government, right? Let the Chinese people worry about it. Worry about your own government because you think you're free and you're not. And we're perfect examples of it, right? We're on a YouTube over here kind of off the grid, pirate style, because they took down your YouTube. The Truth Wire to this day still demonetized, which was the Convo Couch for years. Censorship is all along. We are not free. We just got the illusion of freedom, like George Carlin said. But if you want 23 flavors or 16,000 bagels, we got that for you. That's what RedNote is doing, and look for them to cut that cord quickly, Matt.
And I'm going to just add two things to this. So you mentioned the utopia. We know that utopia doesn't exist by definition. It's unattainable. You have Chinese people who have actually they have the ability to be critical of the thing they signed up for or didn't sign up for, but they can see it. They look at us and say, these people in America don't know what they signed up for. They don't know what they're part of. That's the problem. So now, no matter what happens, if TikTok gets captured, whatever, if the RedNote gets captured next or whatever they do next, you can't unsee what you've seen. The TikTok generation is not going to be able to unsee that what they were exposed to. So we can have discussions about, is the system in China a great system? Is there a better system? Sure, but you can discuss that honestly because you recognize the thing that you're in front of. Until we have to stop here. What we have to stop doing is every time something fails, every time we have like a California fire or a Luigi situation, anytime something goes wrong, a COVID lockdown, upward transfer of wealth, an illegal war in Ukraine, funding a genocide, whatever it is, we have to stop saying that it's these words of like disaster capitalism or crony capitalism or blaming it on communism, which we're not even in. And we have to start saying the thing we're seeing happening right in front of us is a failure of the thing that we signed up for or didn't sign for. It's the failure of the thing that we're in. And then we can start being honest and have honest discussions like they do apparently in China. Let me just throw this up because this is from James Lee. Now, he got the Gavin Newsom stuff right on. He went down the rabbit hole of what happened to that $26 billion for homelessness. And he found the Cayman Island account. And we covered all that right before New Year's. And what do you know? The fires happened and we went down that thing, obviously, these last couple of weeks. But I thought this was interesting from James Lee. And I'm not just playing this to be devil's advocate. I want to cover it all. It's important that we discuss all the nuance and layers and talk about what you suggested, Craig, just earlier. You suggested that something could go wrong with RedNote, and it probably will go wrong. Let's hear what James Lee has.
Let me say this real quick before we play James Lee too as well. I love you're playing this, dude, because this is so awesome that you got to cover that and stuff. Big difference between what's going on in China, and this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, China, they're going to execute their bankers who are fraudulent, whatnot. They do that over there. Over here, they're praising them. In fact, Donald Trump has been talking to Larry Fink and freaking Jamie Dimon. That just shows you everything right there, right? Yeah, please. I love it. I love your playing. This is great.
Oh my God, I got to say, I got
to stick around
here in California that want to see Luigi executed. People are friends and family of us that are saying this. You're like, are you out of your effing mind? That's the guy you want to see on an electric chair? What the hell? It's completely bizarre world here. But yeah, let's see what James Lee has to say about what could go wrong with RedNote. Let's see.
I have some good and bad news about RedNote, and you better buckle up for this one. First off, the good news, I'm loving it. The good vibes, the cultural exchange, the sticking it to the U.S. government attitude, amazing. I would love to see the look on Tom Cotton's face right now. People are comparing medical bills. People are having straight up conversations with each other about the Freemasons. And apparently Luigi is a big cultural icon in China, which is wild. With all this backtracking going on right now, it's probably safe to say that the TikTok ban is going to probably go down as the biggest propaganda war blunder of all time. Which leads me to the bad news. Somebody posted, Gen Z is immigrating to RedNote to continue to speak about Gaza and Israel's crimes. They can ban TikTok all they want. Nothing will stop the tsunami of change that this genocide has created. Except they kind of can, and I think they already are. So it's been reported in the Financial Times, this is where I'm getting this article from, Xiaohongshu, which is RedNote, China's fastest growing social media platform, has gained the backing of venture capital firm DST Global in a rare example of foreign investors putting money into a tech sector that it has largely shunned since Beijing's crackdown. Who is DST Global and why are they investing in China? Let's take a look. All right, DST Global is a venture capital and private equity firm that primarily invests in late-stage internet companies. And it was founded by a guy named Yuri Milner. And Yuri Milner is an Israeli investor and science philanthropist. Awesome. So yeah, this kind of speech on RedNote probably won't last too long. Because you better believe Yuri Milner is getting a lot of calls right now. Probably from this guy and this group. But hey, by all means, keep the party going as long as you can on RedNote. I love it. Keep doing what you're doing, but kind of sucks that the party's always got to be ruined by, I'm not going to say.
Dude, come on, China. Get into it. All those RedNote people. And by the way, I want to learn how to say the name in Chinese because I'm going to practice. Dude, I got like stuff from where American people are teaching us how to speak. I want to go to Beijing. I'm going to maybe go open up a pizzeria in China somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Cook Italian food for Chinese people, learn their culture, eat their food, learn that language. I mean, that's what RedNote makes me want to do. And but I hope they get together and they start banning that. Like, you know, don't let them buy it. Say no. Somebody else come in. Somebody come in and protect the freedom of speech. But it doesn't make a difference. On this end, it's going to get yanked.
It's going to get yanked. But this is the thing that the good news. Let's sandwich it with some more good news because he did a beautiful job. The good news, and then here's the bad news. Let's sandwich it with one last point. No matter how bad it gets, no matter how much they're able to squash the next thing, capture the next thing after that, you can't unsee what you see. You can't unknow what you know. And the best part about what's happening right now, Craig, is that this generation on TikTok is aligned with this generation in China, and they're learning from each other, and you can't undo that. So that's something to be happy and celebrate in this moment right now.
Yeah. And by the way, Jordan Lott says, heck yeah, Italian food for Chinese. Should I leave TikTok now? Come on, Jordan Lott. Come on over there. Let's have a good time. I'm going to jump on there. I'm going to make a profile. I'm going to go check out some Chinese restaurants and kind of say, this is the Chinese food here in Florida. This is what it's like, and talk to the people there and share that on RedNote. Hopefully make some friends, learn some language until they stop us. I mean, this is something I talked, dude, like, you don't even know. Back in the days, I was like, you know, there was not a lot of people talking about China. And I got a lot of stuff when I was a Democrat and the Bernie Sanders part. Remember, Democrats didn't even like talk nicely about China. They're like, oh, you can't have the convo couch in China. I'm like, how do you know that? Like, get out of here. Like,
Yeah, you're just making shit up.
You're just making shit up. You sound like a fucking Trumper.